Hey there. So, you've just found out your blood sugar is on the high side, and you're probably wondering what comes next. Well, you've come to the right place. Today, we're going to break down a really simple step-by-step plan to help you naturally get a handle on it and take back control of your health. Let's jump right in. Look, getting a diagnosis like prediabetes, it can be a lot to take in. It might feel a little confusing, maybe even a bit scary. But here's the absolute best part. Just knowing is the most powerful first step you can possibly take. It means you now have the power to make a change, and that's exactly what we're here to do today. Map out that path forward. So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to figure out what's really going on inside your body. Then, we'll bust a few common and kind of dangerous myths. After that, it's all action. We'll dive into 3 huge steps: the food fix, the timing fix, and the movement fix. And you'll want to stick around to the end, because we've got a bonus secret weapon that ties it all together. Okay, first up, let's take a peek behind the curtain and see what's actually happening with your blood sugar. And don't worry, we're not going to drown you in complicated medical jargon. We're going to use some really simple ideas to make sense of the whole thing. Okay, so picture this. Every time you eat, sugar or glucose enters your bloodstream. That's the signal for your pancreas to release a hormone called insulin. Now, the easiest way to think of insulin is like a key. Its entire job is to go around, knock on the doors of your cells, and unlock them so they can let all that sugar in to be used for energy. When everything's working right, the sugar leaves the blood, enters the cells, and your blood sugar levels go back to normal. Pretty simple, right? But what happens when that smooth process breaks down? Well, if we're constantly filling our cells with energy over and over, they eventually get, well, stuffed. They're literally full to the brim. And this is where we get something called insulin resistance. The insulin key is still there, it's still knocking on the door, but the lock is getting jammed. The cells start to ignore it. It's like your cells are shouting through the door, "Nope, no thank you, we're stuffed. We literally can't take any more in." So where does that sugar go? It has nowhere to go, so it gets stuck in your bloodstream. Your body senses this, and your pancreas kind of panics. It thinks, well, I guess I'm not sending enough keys. So it starts pumping out even more insulin, trying desperately to force those doors open. And that right there is the vicious cycle: high blood sugar and way, way too much insulin. And that whole situation leads us right into our next section. We need to clear up some really common and, frankly, dangerous misconceptions. There's a lot of bad information out there, so let's take a minute to separate the myths from the reality. All right, the biggest myth out there is that prediabetes is just some harmless little warning sign, not the real deal. But the reality is that vicious cycle of super high insulin is already causing problems in your body, contributing to things like high blood pressure and heart issues. The second myth, that you can just wait and see. The hard truth is, without making changes, for most people, it's not a question of if it will progress, but when. The takeaway here is simple. Now is the time to get serious. So, that brings us to our very first action step, and it's a big one: the food fix. Now, this isn't about finding some magic berry or a miracle green smoothie. This is about making some fundamental changes to what's on your plate, because that is where you're going to see the biggest results. The absolute easiest place to start: your drinks. I'm talking fizzy sodas, energy drinks, and yes, even fruit juices. They are a main line of pure sugar straight into your system. Just replacing those with water is a huge win. Next, you want to target what we'll call fake foods. Anything that comes in a carton or a box with a long list of ingredients. These things are often loaded with hidden sugars and are literally engineered to make you want more. The goal is simple: replace them with real, whole, natural foods. And just look at the difference this can make, especially with the first meal of the day. On the left, you've got that classic breakfast: cereal, toast, orange juice. That sends your blood sugar on an absolute roller coaster. A huge spike followed by a massive crash that leaves you feeling hungry, tired, and cranky a couple hours later. But look at the right. A breakfast built on protein and healthy fats, like eggs or yogurt with nuts, keeps your blood sugar stable, keeps you full, and sets you up for a much better day. Okay, let's quickly talk about starch. This is a big one. I want you to imagine a long necklace made of sugar beads all strung together. That's basically what starch is. Foods like bread, rice, pasta, and potatoes are just packed with these long chains of sugar. When you eat them, your body's job is to break that string, and when it does, poof, all those individual sugar beads flood right into your bloodstream. So this chart makes it really clear. You can see those starchy carbs have a really high impact on your blood sugar. Protein has a medium impact, and then you have healthy fats and non-starchy carbs. Think leafy greens and other veggies that grow above the ground. They have a very low impact. The goal here isn't to get rid of carbs completely, not at all. It's about making smart swaps, less of the high-impact stuff and more protein, healthy fats, and those awesome non-starchy vegetables. Okay, so we've nailed down what to eat. Now let's move on to step 2, because believe it or not, when you eat can be just as important. This whole step is about one simple thing: giving your body a well-deserved break. And the magic number here is 12. The goal is to create a 12-hour window every single day where you're simply not eating. You might have heard this called intermittent fasting, but honestly, it's way less intimidating than it sounds. That break gives your insulin levels a chance to finally come down, which lets your cells rest and start to become sensitive to insulin's knock once again. And check out how easy this can fit into your day. Let's say you finish dinner by 8 p.m. That's it. You just don't eat anything else until 8 a.m. the next morning. That's your 12 hours. And the best part? You're literally asleep for most of it. This is so powerful for breaking that habit of constant late-night snacking that keeps our insulin working overtime. Now, I know what you're thinking. What about my morning coffee? What if I get hungry? Don't worry, you have options. During that fasting window, you can absolutely have things that won't mess with your insulin. Black coffee or tea is fine, herbal teas are great, water with a little lemon, even a cup of savory homemade bone broth. These can really help you sail through that fasting window, no problem. All right, you ready for our third and final core step? This is the movement fix, and it's one of the simplest, most powerful habits you can build to directly help your body manage the sugar from your meals. It's a real game changer. Here's the entire plan. It's so simple. After your biggest meal of the day, for a lot of us that's dinner, just get up and move for 10 to 20 minutes. That's it. You don't need a gym membership. A simple walk outside is perfect. You can walk indoors, or you can even just march on the spot while you watch TV. The whole point is to get your big leg muscles working, because they will immediately start sucking up that sugar you just ate for fuel, pulling it right out of your bloodstream. Okay, we have covered food, timing, and movement, but there is one final bonus piece to this puzzle. And honestly, this might be the most overlooked, most important secret to your success. We are talking about sleep. I really want you to let this sink in for a second. This is not a small detail. The science is crystal clear on this. Just one single night of bad sleep is enough to mess up how your body handles sugar the very next day. So if you're consistently not sleeping well, you are fighting a massive uphill battle, no matter how well you eat or exercise. So what can you do? Here are a few simple rules for better sleep. First, no coffee after noon. Easy. In the evening, start dimming the lights in your house. This sends a powerful signal to your brain that it's time to wind down. And the big one, you have to put away the bright screens, your phone, the tablet, the computer, at least 2 hours before you want to be asleep. And there you have it. The food fix, the timing fix, the movement fix, and the sleep secret. It's a clear 4-part plan to help you take back control. But listen, you don't have to do it all at once. The most important thing by far is just to start. So the big question is, looking at this plan, what is the one small thing you can start with today?